Hello, welcome back to my channel. This video, I want to talk about 4 beliefs you might have about food that are keeping you stuck in your current body. So most likely you want to lose some body fat, you want to get toned because toning doesn't actually exist. Building muscle is the same as toning. So you want to lose body fat, you want to build some muscle, you want to get just a leaner, tighter, better feeling body, but you're stuck. And it's most likely, or very often, you've got one of these beliefs about food that are actually contributing to you being stuck right now. So that's what we're going to go through in this video. The first belief about food that might be keeping you stuck is that certain foods are either good or bad. I'm constantly talking about my clients with this. So they message me every day, we check in with each other, see how they're going. They will always be asking me questions. Oh, is this food better? Should I have had this instead? This food's bad, so I was really upset that I actually ate this. What this does, having a belief about food being good or bad, first of all, when you have that belief, you're not seeing food for what it actually is. Secondly, and most importantly, when you believe something is good or bad, you start to then restrict those bad foods, and because you've created that restriction, you have that kind of secret desire to have it, because we always want what we can't have. So that is how binge eating behavior is created. If you are believing certain foods are bad for you and then therefore cutting them out because you think by cutting them out you will get that body that you want and you will start making progress, it's actually not associated, first of all, so it's not going to help you. And it's actually going to detriment you, because as a result of creating that restriction in your life, you're going to potentially create the need to binge on that food when it is available. If you want to limit binge eating and you are someone that does binge eat, whether it's once a month or every week, you need to stop seeing food as good or bad and instead do something that's actually going to help you, and that is see food for what it is. So see it as nutrient dense or calorie dense, and that will help you, because if you know what foods are calorie dense, then you know you probably need to, just say your goal is fat loss or weight loss, you probably need to have smaller portions of those calorie dense foods. You don't have to completely restrict them though, you just have to be more mindful of how much of them you're eating. But if you're allowed to eat them, even on a daily basis, and still achieve your goal, then there's no need to cut them out completely. And then there's no need to binge on those foods when they are available, or when you've had a bad day and you're feeling emotional and it just then happens. Seeing food as nutrient dense is very helpful for fat loss, because then you can recognize the foods that you should be eating more of, and that will help fill you up and give you nutrients and all of that. Also, seeing food for what it is in terms of what macronutrient it is very helpful. So a lot of my clients, again, have trouble hitting their protein target. So starting to learn what foods have more protein in that aren't like meat and obvious things will help you hit that protein target more easily, because then you can make small food swaps that will help you get more protein in your diet without really making much effort. At the end of the day, food is food, it's neutral. When you break it down, it's usually a carbohydrate, fat, protein, or a vegetable. It's either micronutrient dense or it's calorie dense. So see it that way, and that is going to help you much more than seeing it as good or bad. The second belief you might have about food that's keeping you stuck is this belief that you are eating too much food. As a result of believing that and thinking that, you think you have to eat less and less. So again, you create this restriction in your life. And what I see this usually results in is a yo-yo dieting kind of cycle. You go through periods of thinking, oh, I'm just eating too much, I have to eat less. So you eat a lot less, you can't stick to that, so then you go back to eating more food because that's not sustainable and you're miserable and you're probably not getting very good results anyway, or even if you are, you're just like, I can't keep this up. So then you go back to eating more food, you gain some weight back, and then you have to start a diet again, and you just go through that yo-yo dieting cycle. As a result of thinking that you're eating too much, now, yes, you do need to create a calorie deficit to lose fat, but in so many situations, it's not actually your problem most of you, so many of you, will look better if you build some muscle. Yes, you might need to lose some fat as well, but often a lot of the clients that come to me, they actually need to eat more food to achieve that. And it might be that they need to create an extra step before fat loss. So if you're always thinking that you're eating too much food and as a result you're restricting yourself, what happens if you restrict yourself too much and you're not eating that much food, even though you think you're eating too much? What happens is your metabolism adapts to that quantity of food that you're eating. And as a result, you're actually making it harder and harder to lose fat in the future because your metabolism is adapting to a smaller quantity of food. So you're able to maintain your weight on that smaller quantity of food. Then when you need to implement a calorie deficit, you actually you can't do it in a healthy way. Like if you're already eating 1400 calories, trying to take like 300, 400 calories off that and do that sustainably, it's not going to happen. So to set yourself up for success, you need to stop completely restricting your food, actually learn how much food you need to eat for your body and your goals. So often I go out for dinner or go around to like family members' houses for dinner and I'm always getting told, oh my God, you eat so much, Jody. And for a while there, that really played with my thinking and my head, and I was always feeling like I needed to hide how much I was eating or eat less because these other people were constantly telling me that, oh, you eat so much food, like that's not normal, that's not right. But really, they're not the normal ones because they're getting all their information of how much food should be normal from the news and from the media and magazines that are telling you to eat less and go on this diet to lose weight. And yes, you do need to create a calorie deficit for fat loss, but you can only do that if you're used to eating a lot of food and you're actually eating a lot of food. If you're actually used to eating not so much food, then a calorie deficit isn't going to work for you. And I've made a video on that. I'll try and remember to put it in the description box. The next belief you might have about food is that you are eating too little food. By thinking you're eating not that much, what that actually does kind of justifies the need for you to not track your food and not actually become aware of how much you're eating exactly. If you think you're not eating enough food and you're overweight or you want to lose some fat, there's a very high chance that you're actually eating a lot more than what you think you're eating. This doesn't apply if you are a yo-yo dieter and your body has adapted on very low calories, or it doesn't apply if you're a lot of the time skinny fat and you actually just need to build muscle to get a better body and lose that body fat. You are overweight and you definitely need to just lose body fat, and you think you're not eating enough, or you think you don't eat that much food, very high chance that you eat more than you think. And by tracking your food intake, becoming aware of exactly how much you're eating, that is going to help you know what kind of deficit you need to implement and then start following a calorie deficit consistently. So take 300 or 400 calories off what you're eating now, and then you'll start losing weight and fat. The difference between weight and fat loss obviously could be fat or muscle and water, whereas fat loss is losing fat and maintaining or retaining as much muscle as possible. And the way you make sure you do that is by working out, like resistance training. The fourth belief you might have about food that is keeping you stuck is that carbs make you fat. Let's go with that. I was going to go back to carbs are bad, but we've already kind of discussed that. It's a very common belief at the moment that people still have carbs make you fat, and it's simply not true. Carbs, there's no food on its own that will make you fat. Carbs do not make you fat. They actually help you. And by believing that carbs make you fat, you again create that restrictive behavior in that life because you think you have to cut them out to lose weight or lose fat, which is not the case at all. You just need a calorie deficit. By believing carbs make you fat, thinking you need to cut them out and actually restricting them from your life, you're probably again doing yourself a detriment, because what carbs actually do for you, they can help you sleep better. So if you're not eating enough carbs and you're struggling with your sleep, having some more carbs before bed could help you sleep, and sleep is very important for fat loss. Also, if you're not eating carbs, that is going to impact your performance in the gym. Your performance in the gym is going to really dictate how much muscle you can build, which is important to get a better looking body overall. And it's also going to impact fat loss to an extent. You want to make sure that, again, you're seeing food for what it is. Carbs are good for you. Carbs are fuel. Your body doesn't need carbs, but it performs better on carbs. Stop seeing them as bad. Same with sugar. Sugar is just a simple form of carbohydrates, digested and absorbed more easily by the body, but it doesn't mean it's bad for you. Yes, if you're really overweight and maybe you don't have a good insulin response to sugar, you might need to watch it for a while, but it doesn't mean you completely need to cut it out. Unless you're diabetic, then that's another problem. Like, I don't get into that. One client I had ages ago, he was very against carbs and thought they were bad. So as a result, he didn't get very good results because he wasn't progressing in the gym. His goal was to build muscle. And to build muscle and to make progress in the gym, you need to be eating your carbs. Got that belief from when he was overweight, because he started reading into insulin and learning about all that. But what you have to understand, if you are overweight, like he lost a lot of weight and he wasn't very overweight when he came to me, that's why he wanted to build muscle. He was in a different body from what he was back then. So once you lose weight, your body actually starts to respond better to carbohydrates. If you have that belief that carbs make you fat because of insulin and all of that, you have to actually start to, I think it's helpful to question it and go from there. Anyway, I think I've said enough for this video. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, please send me an email and I will see you in the next video.